Hello, welcome to another episode of CRT Sound System. So we've got episode 83, a Peacecape.
Happy.
A Peacecape, yes, let's call it a Peacecape.
Yeah, I did that earlier.
Yeah, speaking of
Probably after the podcast too. You know, when you're getting older, it's anyways.
Yeah, when you're in your 40s, it's really tough. You just you got to take them where you get them. So we're talking about Ape Escape, and we've got Benny. We've got here with Reese as always. Reese, how are you?
Incredible.
Yeah, excellent. Delighted to hear it. And got a returning guest, Benny. Benny, how are you?
Oh, not bad. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. I'm hyped to talk about this soundtrack. One of my favorites from one of the fucking goats. Tell us about Ape Escape. What's Ape Escape?
So, Ape Escape is a platformer where the monkeys got smart, and that's not good. So they're going through time, and they're fucking up time. And so now they send a child to do child labor and go catch all these monkeys through time to keep shit correct. And I remember when I first played this, and it was so we had a modified. This was like still new when I played it, but I played a burned copy because my dad had a hookup at a bar that would give him like $7 burned copies of games.
Nice.
And so it wasn't until like my 20s that I picked up an actual copy of this. But don't tell them that. And without having the manual or anything, I didn't know that it required DualShock, and this was like the first game I think to require DualShock, and it kind of has an odd play style because to swing your weapon or whatever, you flick the right stick, and I didn't know what the fuck R3 was or L3 was. I was like, what the just making shit up. So I'm willing to bet this is the first game to utilize all of the buttons on a PlayStation controller.
I have to assume it was because it was a reasonably late game on the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's 99 or 2000, something like that.
99. Yeah, so like, I definitely associated with that sort of early era of the PlayStation. But like, yeah, it's when I was looking it up, I was like, wow, that game came out in 1999, the first one, and like it's. I've never played it, to be clear. We talked about this before when we were planning the episode. And you were like, I'll try and play a bit of it, but I just never got around to it. But I have watched previous guests of the show, Josh, fuck around playing it and being terrible at it.
Nice.
And yeah, it just seems like a fun little sort of like you say, like a platformer. There's a little bit of like a stealth element to it as well. And yeah, just running around with various gadgets, doing, as you said, child labor to bring those damn monkeys back.
Yeah, there's an interesting like loop with you progress and you unlock new gadgets and you get to go back, and I've always enjoyed shit like that.
Yeah, it's sort of like you can, once you unlock new stuff, you can go back to previous stages and like get monkeys that you couldn't get before. Is that more or less what okay. So it's sort of a bit of a Metroidvania in that regard as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to me personally that the game I thought Ape Escape was in my head until I looked at the gameplay footage to prepare for this episode, and I thought Ape Escape you were the ape. And I thought for some reason it was like a platformer, but there was like a barrel of monkeys concept where there were a lot of apes in every level, and you had to like hook your arms together. This is all just like totally made up in my head. So I'm glad that I now know the truth, and that you are a baby, a 3-year-old killing apes. After you capture them in your net, and then they go in the grinder. That's my understanding.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, you did link me that very fun video on the, I guess, the lore of it, viewed through a Marxist lens.
Yeah, that I saw that years ago, and I think that's like a 7 or 10-year-old video, and I
Mm,
periodically come back to it, and it cracks me up every time.
yeah. It's always funny to sort of really seriously analyze a piece of children's media, as though it were as though it were full of meaning that is sort of
Yeah.
fully that's always a fun type of video that I enjoy to watch. The first thing I suppose to talk about with the music is Soichi Terada. Are either of you familiar with him outside of his sort of game music?
I know
Oh.
how he got started in this, and I've listened to his other, because he's got quite a little bit of stuff out there, and he has his own like label and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He put out that Sumo Jungle album, and that's the director or creative director or somebody that was on the Ape Escape project heard it and was like, "This whips ass. We got to get this guy." And
Yeah.
then they recruited him, and they were just like, "All right, this is a game with kids, and they're running fast," and that's pretty much the only details they gave him. And so he's like, "All right, high tempo, here we go." And so that's kind of the way it went. The game was
Yeah.
originally supposed to be called Kids,
Okay,
which,
interesting.
and so you'll see that throughout the game. Like there'll be graffiti that just says "Kids" for no reason.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, was it originally? Were you netting
Children, I have
and
no
con-
idea.
yeah. That's what I'm going to assume.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know. This is a little sensitive. We shouldn't do this one. All right, monkeys then.
Yeah. Child escape is the much more fraught concept, especially in
definitely,
2025.
Yeah, 25. Yeah.
Yeah, we would probably want to sidestep any of that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I suppose in my mind, I suppose like Reese, I had a very different conception of this game. Again, more being in my mind more like a monkey ball type situation than it was what it turns out to be. In fact, but yeah, just to talk a bit more about Soichi Terada, like one of the fucking best to ever do it, and like started off just making like house music in Japan, and just like being just basically a DJ. And then like switched over to making jungle and drum and bass for that album you mentioned, Sumo Jungle, which is sort of how that style of music ended up being the style of music primarily in Ape Escape. The first track that started off definitely is sort of one of the least drum and bassy of them all, and there's a few sort of a little bit more straightforward as well. But for the most part, you'll find like a lot of these sort of liquid funk drum and bass and stuff like that in it, and just like a very chill vibe despite the up-tempo nature of it as well. Like there's a lot of really nice chill synths and stuff. And like for years then he just sort of didn't really work on anything. Like he made some other soundtracks.
He did a soundtrack for like a PS2 launch title
for Fantavision. Yeah, he did the Japanese soundtrack.
But
for
the
that.
Japanese version, and I've heard of that game. I never actually played it because it was just like a firework rhythm game. And it's bizarre to me that they would have the US version have a different soundtrack.
And
like,
the European version had a different version as well. So there's 3 separate soundtracks for that game.
What the hell? Put them all in one. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and they're all really good. Like, all 3 soundtracks are fucking great. But the Japanese soundtrack is definitely the best of the 3. They released a version of Fantavision for the PS4 as well in like 2021, I think. And he did an updated soundtrack for that as well. But yeah, there was sort of a bit of a renewed interest in his music at some point. I think there was like one of these things where like somebody released a compilation of a bunch of his old tunes, and it just sort of became popular again. And that caused him to release a new album in 2022, called Asakusa Light, which I fucking love. It's one of my favorite albums of the last few years.
Is that the one where it's got the building on it, or is that the one with him on it?
That's the one with
Okay.
all the buildings on it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a more of a deep house record, progressive house and deep house, rather than the style that you'll find on here. But again, just one of my favorite records of the last few years. Just like incredibly good deep house. If you like deep house or progressive house, definitely worth checking it out. Like there is a sort of a big resurgence in Japanese house music at the moment. You're seeing. To the point where I think maybe Soichi Terada might be the only video game composer who also has an essential mix. Which, if you're not familiar with that, is like a mix series that's been going on since the 80s in the UK, where every Saturday night they get a different guest DJ to come on and do like an hour's mix. And his essential mix is really, really good. It's well worth tracking down. But I think he might be the only video game composer. He's certainly the only one that we covered here, outside of like Amon Tobin or Solar Fields, maybe, who are otherwise sort of more mainstream. Who has done one. But yeah, like just one of the greats, really, and like I'm really glad that now he's starting to get a lot more sort of accolades for what he's done. Because I think even up till recently, like it wasn't fully known that he did the Fantavision soundtrack. Because anytime I'd see credits for it, it was just credited to like Sony Sound Team or something like that. So I'm wondering if that's sort of like a new thing that's come out as well. It's again hard to find out sometimes how things were credited properly in the past.
Yeah. Especially with like a language barrier. It's like, how am I going to dig through this?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sort of thing where just be like, yeah, I work on the new Fantavision, but you gotta get the old Fantavision right. You know?
Yeah.
We're experiencing Terada Renaissance, and we'll have no, I don't know. I'm just transitioning.
I've seen a couple of his live videos before this, and he looks like he's having a ton of fun. So that'll be it. And some of them are like as new as like 2018, like near me, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize he was crossing the ocean over all this.
Yeah, no, he's definitely sort of getting a bit more of a high profile, sort of in more mainstream circles now. Yeah. But yeah, we'll jump into the first block of tracks. Got quite a few here to start with. So again, all composed by Soichi Terada. We have Time Station, Crabby Beach, Crumbling Castle, Dark Runes, Cryptic Relics, Frosty Retreat Inside, and Snowy Mammoth. so something I was thinking about during the break there, is something I bring up a lot is just sort of the way that like, even though if you're sort of doing a soundtrack that's in a specific genre, the fact that you're doing it in the game means that you can sort of be a little bit more playful with it in ways that you probably wouldn't if you were doing an album. Like you probably wouldn't find too much melodica on a on a drum and bass album generally. I'd say.
Yeah.
um, and it's just fun to hear those sort of sounds because like there is a sort of like a childlike sort of quality to a lot of the overtones and the melodies and the instruments that he's using, and then sort of coupling that with the heavier sort of drum and bass breaks, is an interesting sort of contrast. So we were talking a bit. You mentioned during the break about there being sort of stealth stuff that you can do in the game, and that reminded me about the Metal Gear Solid 3 stuff. How the hell did Metal Gear Solid 3 end up getting sort of crossed over with this game?
That I should have done more research on that, but they must have been buds or something. Kojima meets everybody, so
Yeah.
there's pictures of him with anybody. So
Yeah, Kojima was probably like Ape Escape inspired. Let's put little guys in the 3 that you gotta find.
Yeah. It's just
Um,
like, yeah, it's funny. Go on ahead, sorry, Reese.
There's something that you said in the break that I'd like to explore. That the fact that every American calls all genres of electronic music techno,
Yeah.
and that it fills you with rage.
Yeah.
Would you speak on that a little bit?
Like,
I find it fascinating, because it is so fucking true. For such a long time, everything was techno, and I think that's finally died down. But I feel like
yeah.
still in my heart, I'm calling it techno.
yeah, that's like
And I'm sorry for bringing you such rage, but
No, it's okay. It's just like, I think specifically because of the fact, like, as Benny mentioned, like Detroit invented techno, and by
Mhm.
techno I mean like a very particular style of dance music using like a drum machine and samples, and like,
and that's where I'm from, and I still do
yeah,
it.
yeah, and they also invented house music in Chicago,
In
um,
Chicago, which is like
and
derivative of disco.
yeah, it's just chopped up disco with again
Yeah,
with more samples and some
it
and like
was.
as time went by, sort of things got more complex. But a lot of the time, it was
Mhm.
just like just looping disco drums with some increasing the bass basically. But like like they invented the two sort of primary genres of electronic dance music. That sort of pretty much everything comes from there.
Yeah.
And like it's so maddening to me that like because of the just sort of the culture surrounding dance music in America, that it had to come over to Europe for before it actually sort of started to evolve and things like that, and then America just sort of re-imported a bunch of stuff in the mid 90s, like stuff like the Chemical Brothers and Orbital and stuff like that, through a lot of the time through video game soundtracks, in fact. But like they
That's
just sort of started calling every single genre of electronic music techno then at that point, and it just frustrates me.
that's like with any kind of heavier alternative music. They all call it screamo, and like
Mm,
it's like screamo is a hyper specific thing, but then they'll just call like fucking Slipknot or some radio shit screamo, and I'm like,
yeah.
no. Or it's like old people calling it Nintendo, and it's just a game in general.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is a
yeah.
bit of that, and like I don't get that angry about it, but I'm just like low key kind of seething about it every time I hear somebody say the word
Just across the
like
board.
yeah.
Um,
When somebody hears the Prodigy and they go, "I love techno," and you're like,
okay, well, what is okay? Well, what is for my reference and for the listeners at home? What is techno? What is the biggest techno song? And what
"Ooh."
uh and how can we separate it and know things are not techno?
That's a good question, actually, because it's hard to sort of gauge what people know as techno. Um, like, to
So
me, I
you don't even
suppose.
know.
Well, it's just I could name a bunch of songs, I could name a bunch
I'm
of
just fucking with you.
artists, but like whether or not they're meaningful to people outside of knowing what techno is, like Strings of Life is probably like the most famous techno song, but I'm not sure that's a song that people would know. um, and like people like Derek May and like Fan and Flowers and stuff like that, like and even people like Robert Hood from back in like the early days. Like these are names that like if you're into techno, you know them.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine many people listening to this who are not already
So
into techno knowing those names.
yeah. I mean, I don't know those songs. I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get mad where I'm just like, Americans don't even know a techno song. They don't even know
Yeah,
one techno song, but everything's techno. I'm,
So
yeah,
I'm
it's
fucking furious,
so
actually.
it's, it's somehow the name escaped the underground, but the actual music itself did not.
yeah. It's really it's very strange. Like
It's like the screamo thing I'm talking about. People don't know Orchid or fucking whatever they're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like you can I can post a bunch of playlists in the here of like all my techno shit if people are interested in listening to some actual techno. But like it's just one of those things like people just sort of have that term as a generic term now, and there's not much I can do about it, but I am going to be mad about it.
Yeah, no, we're gonna re-educate the world. We
Yeah.
have.
If I come back, I'll make sure to call it techno again, just for the riff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's my
Absolutely. Yeah,
guarantee. I
just
won't be coming
fucking.
back.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So what are we? I'm gonna. This is the genre break. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Ape Escape. What genre are we in with this soundtrack?
We're sort of somewhere between jungle and drum and bass.
Okay.
Yeah, jungle being sort of more sort of beat heavy, with drum and bass being a little bit more sample heavy, a bit more melodic.
Okay.
Yeah, drum and basses are drum and bass tends to be more melodic, whereas jungle tends to be little bit more rhythm based and like a lot more atmospheric. So yeah, they sort of again, it's tough to sort of for me in particular to sort of separate them, and you'll find discussions online where people will try and figure out the exact difference between jungle and drum and bass, and nobody will come up with the same two definitions.
Yeah, that's
um,
10,000%.
yeah,
I get it. I get it. Just be
yeah,
like, what is horror? I don't know. Is there a monster in it?
yeah,
Who knows?
yeah,
That makes sense to me. All right,
yeah.
we're
Like,
gonna. I'm proposing an episode idea. That I'm gonna just drag Benny back onto, and just a tour of the genres through video game soundtracks, and we're gonna clear all of this up once and for all. For
yeah,
I
me
got
well,
nothing
personally,
going
as
on.
well as the listeners.
but that's something I have sort of thought about in the past, and if you listen to the bonus episodes on the feed, I have done a drum and bass episode, and I've done a house music episode,
Hmm.
and I think an acid jazz episode. I'm trying to remember the ones I've done, but like, yeah, I do. One thing I do like to do is sort of collect tracks that are sort of in a particular genre, in video games, just because I do again a lot of what I like is sort of finding these crossovers between sort of mainstream electronic music or mainstream music in general and video game music, and again that's one of the big appeals of Soichi Terada to me, because he's sort of one of those people who is especially the last few years sort of really between the two worlds, like video game music and mainstream music.
The genres of bonus episode that we have done are video game acid jazz, video game trance,
Oh,
and
trance, yeah.
video game drum and bass, and the fourth genre, Christmas.
Christmas. That's
The
Christmas,
Lord.
the fourth food group in the techno genres.
Yeah, yeah, good.
All right. So sorry for the digression. It really struck a chord when it was mentioned that Americans call everything techno, because that was That was true. My mom called stuff techno, and she doesn't know Strings of Life. That's for sure.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
off our case about that, and we won't press you about what you guys call cigarettes. So
Look, that's not our fault. That's an old. That's an
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
Look, I can't take any blame for that. I've been colonialized on this, so.
yeah, you guys have been colonized. Now I feel bad. I shouldn't have said anything.
No, yeah.
Chokiala.
Oh my goodness. All right. I think we'll jump into the next block of tracks. So, we've got another good long block of these. Thankfully, Soichi Terada made all these tracks quite. So I didn't have to make a lot of harsh decisions about what to, because I could include pretty much the entire soundtrack. We've got Coaster, Haunted House, Stadium Attack, Specter's Castle, Specter's Factory Outside, Specter's Factory Inside, and Molten Lava. I've been watching some long plays, or a long play, I should say, just idly in the background, as I often do when we're doing episodes. And like, I'm kind of amazed by how this is a PS1 game. Like, it obviously looks like a PS1 game. It's got the wobbly textures of a PS1 game, but like the frame rate and just the animation, the texture quality is absolutely ridiculous. Like I can't just I always find it so fascinating, the difference in this sort of era of consoles, of like when you look at a game that came out when the system first came out, and then games that came out right at the end, like the difference between
you compare this to Jumping Flash, and it's like, holy fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I was just thinking as well of just like this music as well in the context of like club music, and we were talking about techno and big beat and so forth in the break. And like this is a game that I definitely do associate with that sort of early PlayStation, as I mentioned, and I think it's because of the music, because like a big part of like that early push for PlayStation, we talked about it before on a couple of different episodes, probably the Parappa episode most likely, but like just this Sony sort of positioning the PlayStation as this sort of like much cooler thing than the Super Nintendo or anything that came before, that like this shit isn't for kids anymore. This is for something what you do when you come back from the club and off your minds on ecstasy and you want to play Resident Evil. Like, or like you want to play Wipeout because you're tripping balls. And like, again, like the music that they sort of pushed with it was very much a part of that, and like sort of really embracing that sort of mid-90s club culture in the UK in particular, but also in Japan, and like through the soundtracks and stuff like that, really going for that. And like even with the game, which is very much a kid's game, like the getting those sort of club sounds, even though I'm not sure you get away with playing some of these tracks in a club. But like, the break beats that you've got here are much sort of in that sort of milieu. But yeah, it's just it's an interesting sort of time capsule of the way this system was sort of marketed to the world.
When we did Shadow Hearts a couple episodes ago, there was a lot of talk about during the development of that series about how important 3D was to the PlayStation at the time, and it's sort of like it and it was very much like you can't do 2D. 2D is dead.
2D is dead,
and it's sort of like, I think it feeds into what you're talking about, this image of the PlayStation as this next level thing that just like didn't have to bother with flat sprites anymore. Everything was going to be 3D forever. And I think you can kind of see that in a lot of the stuff that we've talked about, where even if stuff was not necessarily in 3D, they were always pushing these interesting envelopes. And I know the president earlier, not the current president, but previous presidents of Sony have spoken very, very highly of Ape Escape as kind of like a standout PlayStation title.
Yeah. I mean, even to this day, it's sort of it is one of the mascot series. It shows up in that like Astrobot thing, and what was that terrible Smash Brothers clone?
Brawl Stars or some shit.
Brawl Stars, yeah, something like that. Whatever it was, like shows up in that, and yeah, just like it is very much like part of the PlayStation's identity now. Even though I don't think there has been a new game since the late 2000s, probably on the PSP.
In the US, the last one we got was the PSP one. The last PlayStation console one we got was 3, but there's several. There's like 5 other ones or some crazy shit that we didn't get, but they're like kind of weird, like mini game centric, and one of them's like got it's called like Sarugetsu, which is the title, the Japanese title, like 1 million apes or some shit like that.
Oh yes, yeah.
And that one's weird. It's got like a mech. It's got like mechs in it or some shit. I tried to play like a ROM of it, and then I was like, "There's too much text. I have no fucking clue what's going on. This is supposed to be a kids game.
Yeah.
I can't figure out what I'm doing."
Yeah. Go on.
When Ape Escape 3 hit the PlayStation like retro library thing that they have, it was big on the PlayStation Plus sort of menu screen. And I think now thinking about it, informed a lot of my false opinions on what playing the game would be like, because it's just apes front and center everywhere. So I had to assume that was the main guy, and there was a lot of them. But yeah.
I suppose for all those other games, I think Soichi Terada did all the soundtracks except for 2. I think 2 is the only Ape Escape soundtrack he didn't do. But yeah, if you like the music here, definitely try on Ape Escape 3 and what is it? Yeah, Get You Million Monkeys.
Yeah, Saru Gets You.
Saru Get You Million. Yeah, what a title for a game. Yeah. And then again, another fucking insane title, Ape Escape Pumped and Primed. You can't say that. That's not a phrase you can. Sorry.
That's a great title. I understand. You cannot say that, but it's a great title.
That one I think we actually did get in the US, which is funny.
Yeah, that US and Japan only. That one never reached Europe, it seems.
I think that one's like a mini game one for the PSP.
The United States understands being pumped and primed. So,
yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is sort of strange how many games this has gotten, and so few of them were released in the US, and even fewer in Europe. Finally, there was Ape Academy. Yeah, Jesus Christ, sorry. I'm looking through the list of all the Ape Escape games, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they're just.
This is what it must feel like to be a Zoomer going through old games, where you're just like, they made like fucking 25 of these Final Fantasies. What the fuck, dog?
like Resident Evil 0. What the fuck?
That came out way after.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. No, oh wow, and I'm looking there. It's just like they're including the Ape Escape stuff in the Metal Gear Solid Delta remake as well. Or the Snake Eater remake, I should say. Like, wow, yeah. They're really committing to this.
I mean, I guess why not? You know, I assume Konami still owns Ape Escape, which is probably it only occurred to me right now why Ape Escape might have fell off is remembering it's a Konami thing.
Is it a Konami game? I thought it was just one of those. I thought it was an internal Sony thing.
Yeah, I think it's an internal. There's no Konami mention, I don't think.
Oh, really? I thought it was Konami. Sorry.
Japan studio.
Yeah, it's a Japan studio game. Yeah, so I think they are now long dead. But oh yeah, because their corpse was used to make Astrobot.
Yeah.
It
like reorganized. They had a merger with Team Asobi, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Apparently there was an Ape Escape move. So is it an iToy game? Oh no, that's a PS3 game.
Oh my god, the iToy! Fucking hell! Yeah, that was a whole different era. Like the word, like if you never had an iToy, like what a weird thing, because it was like, I don't know if it came out before Wii or after the Wii.
I think it was before.
I think it was before the Wii, but it was like, because it would have been sort of in that state.
Yeah, there is an iToy one, Monkey Mania.
Yeah, but like, just imagine the worst quality camera you can think of, and just trying to do Kinect stuff to the worst camera you've ever seen in your life. It's fucking impossible to play anything on that thing. And again, pre the Wii and pre Kinect and everything as well. Like, you know, they were trying something, but I'm pretty sure I have still have my iToy up in the attic somewhere.
They had an iToy game that was like you would put cards on the field, and then sort of like you would see them animated on screen via the iToy.
Was
Oh,
that
I know
the
what you're talking
iToy or
about.
was that the
Very-
PS3 one?
I think
What
that was the
PS3
Connect.
one?
That was the
Or,
what was the one on the PS3? They had a similar thing.
I know it's not the Connect.
Oh,
It's
no,
because I
it's
remember
not.
being like, "Oh, this is something for the PlayStation that's going to fail."
Yeah. Oh, is
'Cause-
it the PlayStation Move or was that? Sorry, they have so many different fails, motion controlling and motion sensing things.
it was something called the iToy, or maybe it was the PlayStation Eye.
It was just the
That-
PlayStation Eye, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I do remember that game where you put out cards and it would do that like that AR thing that you get and they sort of pop out
and
yeah.
I remember them being very cute about the fact that one of the iToy cards you could put down turned into an eye monster, and they're just like, get it like the eye. And we're like, I get it.
Oh yeah, the game was Eye of Judgment. That was it.
Eye of Judgment. Oh,
yeah, I remember seeing that, but never actually playing it.
wow.
I did not have a PS3.
Yeah, I think there was some goofy Harry Potter one or some shit too, where you like opened a book.
Oh, the
and it
Book
did
of Spells
the same thing.
one. Yeah. Oh, fuck. What a time in video games that was.
They're like, wait.
Also a Japan studio game, so maybe
Mm.
maybe Eye of Judgment had a Ape
banger
Escape.
soundtrack.
Yeah, maybe I'm
For
looking
all you
at it
know.
now, seeing if.
Yeah.
But it appears to have no music according to the Wikipedia page. So.
Fair enough.
Can we
go ahead.
talk very briefly about how great the Ape Escape model is right here? I think that this is an all-timer 3D model. It's the hexagon and the little siren top on the cap, the bulging eyes, the wide 2D plane of the mouth. It has literally everything you would want. And I've been making eye contact with this ape as we've been listening to the soundtrack the whole time, and it lives inside me now.
That's funny. The one on the actual cover of the album, yeah. Because that album actually came out quite late.
Yeah, this says 2011.
Yeah, 2011 they actually released it, so it's that's like so much later than it's so rare for that to actually happen. Where like usually it either comes out pretty quick after the game, or just not at all. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that because like. It was released by Far East Recording as well. That's Terada's.
I wonder if the rights had to expire or something.
It could be a rights thing, maybe. Yeah.
He got a hold of his own stuff again because that's like a little over 10 years from when it would have been licensed in the U.S. to sell. Like, because I think it came out in '99 and it might have been 2000 that it was sold here or something like that.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, the models for the apes game are kind of wild. They're those weird sirens and the fucking what's the name of the villain, the main villain monkey?
Specter.
Like what I should have known the names of the tracks. Yeah, just like the most DreamWorks face ass character you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Like and like what's the thing? He gets a special crown that makes him intelligent. And then you have to take that intelligence from him.
Yeah.
Because
he goes back to being a circus monkey.
Just goes back to being a monkey. How terrible. All right. We'll jump into the next block of tracks. So from this one, I have Thick Jungle Woods, Thick Jungle River, Coral Cave, Hot Springs Maze, and last track in the block is Sushi Temple. Hot Springs Maze is one of those ones that's on my sleep playlist, and because it's like a minute and a half long, Spotify thinks that it's like my favorite song ever because it just plays most.
Jeez.
So like whenever I get to my end of year in Spotify, it's like, oh, you really love Hot Springs Maze by Soichi Terada. And I was like, I sure do, but not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like anytime I'm trying to learn a new song on guitar or something, I replay it and then it's like, this is your favorite song of all time. It's like, I kind of hate that song. Get this out of here.
What have you learned recently?
Oh, nothing of no, I think nothing I care to speak about.
Okay. We'll assume that it's Powerman 500.
500. Oh,
500,
geez.
5,000? I forget what they're
5,000.
Yeah.
Powerman 500 got a real downgrade.
Got a real downgrade.
Real stripped acoustic vibe.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie's cousin Spider is going to be pretty upset.
See, Rob Zombie's cousin. That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. I'm like, Nepo baby, huh?
Incredible. I do still like Rob Zombie unironically, and you can't take that away from me. I'm sorry.
I like Rob Zombie the way I like show tunes, or like just, to me it's like, just, I see it as like a kind of the same thing as like a soundtrack. Like, I don't take it, I don't know.
No, I think it's totally fair. I think Dragula is essentially a show tune, especially in its place culturally at this point. I feel like you could have like Hello Dolly and everyone would be clapping along, and then Dragula and everybody would be clapping along the same level. It'd be great.
Yeah. And like, I was introduced to it with like Twisted Metal 3, which is like the first PlayStation game I had. So to me, it is a soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was a legal requirement between like 1999 and 2003 that if you had a licensed soundtrack, you had to include Dragula. Like, I don't know what kind of deal Rob Zombie made to get that, but like, he must have made so much fucking money from Dragula being in every video game. Even in Jet Set Radio Future, they managed to include it in that one.
No way.
Again, I love Dragula, but like, that doesn't really fit with the style of Jet Set Radio Future.
Maybe like a remix would be fun, but
yeah, and like, there's some good dancey remixes of Dragula. Like, because like Rob Zombie, for all of his making metal, like he makes dance music.
Right, there's like there's like a Venn diagram there.
Yeah, like he's very much in like you can dance to it, and like there's a lot of very good sort of remixes that really sort of play up the dancey nature of his tunes for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely still doesn't really fit in with the vibe for Jet Set Radio. But like, again, it's on like Twisted Metal. It's on a bunch of other soundtracks.
It's in the Matrix. I mean, I would think that's the big. For me, that was the soundtrack apocalypse in terms of Dragula. I remember hearing that and Propeller Heads just nonstop from music from the motion picture The Matrix CD.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of those things.
I wondered for the briefest moment in my brain, which is pure confusion, but I was like, are we talking about Ape Out? No, this is the beloved PlayStation title. But
that's funny because someone else I mentioned this to thought the same thing, and I was like, what is Ape Out? And it's like some indie game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an indie game where you play an ape like a proper fucking gorilla. That escapes from a facility and is killing scientists and dudes. But the whole thing is like jazz drum that like matches up to your movements in the game. So as you're like throwing chairs to kill scientists, there'll be like big like cymbal crashes and stuff. It's awesome.
Oh, interesting.
It's a game that would be hard for us to do because so much of the soundtrack is like
user made.
he's user made, but It's a good ape-based music game that I encourage everybody to check out.
Yeah, Monkey good.
Monkey good. That's so true.
Yeah. I'm entirely too stoned now for doing anything else now. So you're confusing me with this talk of Ape Out. I'm very confused by this game. I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist.
Okay, for the rest of the podcast at least, but please pretend it exists after.
Okay, no promises.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I do see that Bennett Foddy worked on it. That's interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a Bennett Foddy banger for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. My question about Ape Escape is, what's the child's stake in all of this? Why does the child? I mean, is he just like, this is my home? I have to get rid of these fucking animals, or like, what's the deal?
He's buddies with the professor who made the time machine.
Okay.
It's always. I was just gonna say, it's always that fucking.
It's some Back to the Future.
The Back to the Future thing. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Just like,
and then Specter, he takes his buddy, because this is Spike, and I think the other guy's Jake, and he takes his buddy and kind of brainwashes him, and he challenges you and shit. And it doesn't make any sense. It kind of just happens, and you're like, oh, I guess my buddy doesn't like me, which I'm like, that's, happens in real life too, I guess. But anyway.
Well, I guess it gets grandfathered in being a Back to the Future thing, but I still don't approve.
Yeah. That dynamic is always a bit of a dodgy one.
100%. I mean, it's hard to love after Rick and Morty. That's for sure.
That's definitely put a dampener on it for a lot of people, I think.
Oh fuck!
Rick, there are apes everywhere.
This is the first I'm making that comparison. God damn it!
Thank you. Welcome to CRT Sound System, where we just bring you down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've managed to avoid most of that program for the longest time. So I'm not like, I might be chronically online, but I'm not chronically stoned, so I don't really.
No. I will say, at its best, it's some of the best sort of like short form sci-fi I've seen in years, and at its worst, it's fucking dog shit, and I hate it. So it's hard to recommend. But like, there are some really, really good episodes of that show.
I watched the first season when it was new, and I thought some of it was good, but some of it was just like, and it was mostly like the people that were like really into it are really fucking annoying.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's good episodes. I mean, it's really funny how little Justin Roiland is actually involved with the show. So it's like there are quality storytellers on it. It's just every time you see the boy or the grooming old man, you're just like, I'm sick of this dude. JPEG with It's Always Sunny gang throwing darts at it.
Yeah.
There's some deadbeat like that we grew up with that had a kid that I found out he named him fucking Morty after this character.
No.
Looking
forward to whatever she changes her name to when she transitions.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
I was like, it's not even like the full name's not even like Mortimer or whatever it would really be, and I was like, this sucks. I was like, fuck, poor kid.
Just should
doomed from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I think we'll jump in to the last block of tracks, and we've got Peak Point Matrix, TV Tower, City Park, Specter Boxing, Primordial Ooze, and Dexter's Island. again, just another fucking pile of bangers. Like, it is very kind of Soichi Terada to grace us with this soundtrack, frankly. And like being able to put so many of these tracks in the playlist because he made them so short is also fucking great. Because I often struggle with this with episodes here where I'm just trying to cut tracks and trying to justify keeping ones in and being like, oh, I love that track, but I can't. It's too long, or like there's just
the episodes where we're doing RPGs and every track is like 9 minute long, and Tom is trying to do like, okay, well, we have these 5 discrete blocks, and the episode is going to be 3.5 hours long. So I can feel the pain in Tom's heart.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like the amount of times with those as well where somebody would be like, "Oh, you didn't include this track," and I'd be like, "I know I didn't. It was painful to cut it."
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. This is lovely. I love that Soichi Terada kind of, I mean, it's not really true, but it's kind of only done like Fantavision and Ape Escape for his video game output. And so it's just like this musician who produces a lot of bangers and then also is the Ape game guy on top of that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him one day. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I'd love to see him on tour. Like I was looking at some stuff, and I'm like, can I justify traveling to see him in Madrid or something like that? But yeah, no, it's he's really good. Love him. And if you like this stuff, definitely check out the other Ape Escape soundtracks that he's done. There's at least 3 or 4 others that I know of. And then like the Fantavision soundtrack is really good. And there's another game called Wangan Trial, which is like a racing game. A pretty good sort of housey soundtrack by him and a guy called Yuji Nomi. So also worth checking out. And also like just check out his solo stuff. He's got a Bandcamp. He's got some Ape Escape music on there with longer edits of some of these tracks. He's got his solo album, some remix stuff. You can also buy a vinyl of like this soundtrack, and is it this and 3 is included in that soundtrack?
I'm not sure if it's got parts of 3. I think it's just this one, but they're extended, and it's.
Is it just the first game? Oh, it is just the first game. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's it does say as well that those 4 apes in the net tracks are not included for licensing reasons. What those licensing reasons are, I don't know, but
what in the world?
Yeah, music licensing is weird.
They got a 40-year license deal for like the demo that came with the PlayStation.
Yeah, probably something weird like that. Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll let it go with that. Benny, thanks so much for joining us again. It was a real treat to have you on.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
If you want to tell people where they can find you, what you're up to, promote any gigs you've got going on, forth.
If you're in Seattle, I don't know, I'm playing a show in Seattle, like my band's Star 69 ska band. So you can find us Star 69 PDX on Instagram, or if you want to follow me and see the insufferable bullshit I post, Zenigata_Mandata on Instagram. I'm not on anything else for my own mental health at this point.
Good idea.
And even this, I want out, but I have to for music promotion.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so we'll post some links to that in the show notes. Yeah, and if you're up on, I know from looking at our stats, we've got a few people over on the West Coast.
You cut out that one. I'm sorry. What?
I said, yeah, I'll make sure I include those links in the notes.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure we have quite a few listeners over. So try and make it up to Seattle, I guess. For Reese, what you got going on? Usual stuff, I presume.
Yeah, video games are the worst thing on earth, where we are mentally ill about the people who run video game companies. You can check out my various social medias at Reese V Writer on the Blue Sky and Instagram, and not Twitter. And yeah, existential warfare. I'm normal now. You can follow all those things. It'll be great.
Excellent. Yeah, and you can just follow us on Blue Sky, CRT Sound System. There, you can follow me as 4Push on Blue Sky. Go find us on the Patreon. We're CRT Sound there. If you want money, get you some bonus episodes, and we'll get you nice higher quality downloads, higher bitrate downloads, I should say. Come and hang out in the Discord with, talk about stupid house music. Tell me why I'm wrong about jungle. Whatever you want. Yeah, if you want us to
come to the Discord and call everything techno.
call everything you hear techno, and I will get mad at you. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll jump out with the last track here, which is just called Staff Roll. Thanks so much for joining us, Benny, and thanks, Reese. Have a nice day.
It's been real.